What's up YouTube? My name is Jake Rieger, aka ARKSYN, aka Bottle Kids, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make this really intense, huge dance music pluck bass. Suits mid-tempo well, would probably work pretty good for breakbeat, maybe even drum and bass. But I've got this track here, actually just came out 4 days ago. Put the link in the description below, go check it out. It's a banger. But that's what I have loaded up here. And it's the second drop, and it's this guy right here. Well, it's both of these basses. They're layered, but they make one sound. So I'll go ahead and play this, and then I'll solo the basses, play those, and then we'll go through it. So let's do it. So that's the track there. So let's go ahead and I'll show you just the bass now. Actually, I'll solo the whole bass group so you can hear everything else too. Alright, so I think you get the idea. So there are two layers here. What's the first layer? Go ahead and check that out. Alright, so what's going on here was kind of a happy accident. This patch right here is the bass patch for the second layer too, but I forgot that I had left an auto filter that had a bandpass on it enabled, so when I layered this one over, it still had the bandpass enabled, and I played it back and I ended up liking the way this sounded on top of the fuller sounding bass, which I'll play in a minute. Just having it filtered out like this instead of with the auto filter disabled, which would sound like this if I played both of them. Yeah, it's way too much, so really helps clean that up and keep it tight and driving the melody like it is, instead of just being way over the top. But let's talk about the patch, because like I said, it's the same patch for both of these layers. It's just the post-processing that's a little different. So it's pretty simple. These are both default Serum wavetables. The first oscillator is Evil Longreese, which funny enough I think is the same wavetable I used in my last tutorial. And the second oscillator is under analog, it's MB Saw, and these are both polyphonic, so I've got the unison set to 5 here and the unison set to 6 here, and you can see the detune's 0.09, just so it's wide, but it's not detuning to the point that it doesn't sound like it's in key anymore, because the bass I feel like needs to be a pretty stable sound, so I can't really go crazy with the detune. The position set at 55 to 58, it's whatever, somewhere in there. And then I have the volume turned off for the second oscillator here because we're doing FM. So we're doing FM from B, and it's set to what is it set to, 26%. And then it looks like one of these envelopes here is controlling the position and the bend plus minus of the second oscillator here. This envelope is also controlling the filter here. We're doing it bidirectional, so it's starting in the middle and then going like that instead of just going to one side or to the other. Resonance is all the way down, drive fat all the way down. This is doing it to both for some reason, because this has the volume turned off, so it doesn't even matter. And it's just the low 24. Wanted that really tight, really clean pluck sound. I didn't want it to have a lot of tail. So the effects are also pretty basic here. It's just tube distortion set to 80%. Not doing any like selective filtering here. The EQ is doing something a little interesting. We're this high shelf here, we're just automating the gain for this envelope, so as soon as the attack hits, it'll get a little bit more high end, and then as the tail fades off, it'll subtract that high end over time. And then we're just doing some multi-band compression here. And that's pretty much it for the patch. I've got this width macro here that's controlling, what's it controlling? It's the decay of the main filter envelope here. And this is just going from a really tight pluck, 218 milliseconds, all the way up to like completely open. And that's actually what it's set to during this portion here. This layer, the macro is set to, yeah, it says 96%. Oh, it goes all the way up to 100. So it's fully open. It's not doing any plucking. So that's pretty much it for this first layer here. There's a couple more things in the post-processing. So I'm going to go ahead and disable all of these and just play it on its own without the post-processing, so we can kind of step through it and see what it does to the sound as we go. Alright, so that's really loud. But the first thing I did is add some multi-band distortion. We're not distorting, well, we're distorting the low end a little bit here. This is at 120 hertz. Kind of arbitrarily just picked the bounds here, did it by ear, so really no science to that. The low band is getting 20% drive with the warm tape. Then for the middle band, which is really what I was trying to distort with this, we've got the level set to +4 dB. We're using the smooth amp setting, and we're distorting at 62%. And we've adjusted, I've adjusted the tone sliders like that too. Again, kind of just arbitrary, moved it around till I found something I like the sound of. And then again, the high band, we're only doing 20% drive, which is pretty much nothing when you see that the mix is only set to 25%. So we're really just kind of blending it in there. We're not fully distorting it. Then some OTT, just 20%. Fat Rack, Virtual Riot Fat Rack. I don't know if this is actual Fat Rack. I just found this on Reddit. But if you Google VR Fat Rack Ableton or something like that, it should be like the first link. But awesome rack for just quickly fattening up a bass without just killing it. Then the band pass here to clean it up. So this is set to 700 hertz, resonance at 27%, and it's the 12, not the 24, so it's wider. Then an EQ just to clean up 1K. I probably was a reason for that, but I don't remember. Oh yeah, utilities on here to bass mono at 500 hertz. I don't know if I need to still have that on. I don't remember why it's there, if I'm being honest, but whatever. So let's move on to the second layer, which sounds like this. Yeah. It's really deep and really like cutting. This one, the post-processing is a little bit more basic, literally just an EQ cutting at the same spot. Oh, you know what? That was probably because of the voice sample that's layered in here. I wouldn't say it's crucial that you have that, though. It's more for my mix than the sound itself. But as you can see, I don't know why I opened this. It's the same patch. It's just the width is set to 0 instead of all the way open, so it's that really short, plucky, low, deep sound. And then these just get layered together. And they're at the same volume. They're just right on top of each other. Alright, so that does it. That's it. If you like the track, if you like the tutorial, make sure you subscribe, make sure you check out the song, make sure you follow me on SoundCloud, Spotify, whatever you have, whatever you use. Have a good day.